hippo mode in full effect. That's my Twitter hashtag. So having fun with it, my man. So yeah, Coach Ambrose, really appreciate the opportunity here. I humbly accept this, and first of all, let me say I don't belong. With Coach Holler, Coach Leonard, Coach Sabo, all the guys that have shared, just really good stuff. And so just honored to be here. A little bit about myself first before I move on. Want to thank you guys for being here. In my opinion, this may be just as good, if not better, than the NFL draft. We're getting some good stuff here, some very good ball learning, and we can go back and read articles or listen to Stephen A. yell at the screen tomorrow, because we know we will. But I also got to thank my wife. This quarantine has been difficult, I think, for all of us coaches, and you'll see a little bit of my energy here in the next 15 to 20 minutes, and I am going to try to stay on time here. But, my wife has been fantastic, and my kids too. I've got an 11 and 8-year-old boy who are running around in there, and they were out jumping on the trampoline here a little while earlier, and they've been awesome, just allowing me to get better as a football coach. Coach Leonard touched on that. How can we get better? And that's something that I'm always striving to do. I've been a defensive back coach, co-defensive coordinator the last 7 years. Well, co-defense coordinator the last 3 years at one of the powerhouses here in Texas. And so, guys, I've had some really good players come through the program that I just happen to be blessed to be a part of, 2 5-stars. But I tell people all the time, those guys could be 5 stars in a dumpster and coached by ghosts. It's not my coaching. It just makes me look like a better coach than I really am. So honored to be here and just excited about it. So I want to just kind of preface everything with, I don't have a cute presentation. I don't have a PowerPoint. I'm going to pull up some Hutto practice scripts and just talk ball with you guys. And so very similar to what's already been said, things that I believe in and things that we're going to do for the Hutto Hippos, but also I need ideas, you guys. And so, Drew, are we good? You guys see that?
Yes, you are good to go.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Coach. Here in the top right-hand corner, you can see my contact info. I'm always on Twitter, obviously with our phones in hand, that's easy to reach out to me there, but there's my cell phone as well. And so reach out any way you guys feel the need to use that cell phone for sure. I like talking ball at any time and any way. So just talk some tight front stuff. I think we were talking prior to getting on here and officially kicking this thing off tonight. And a lot of times the idea behind an odd front, whether you're in 4 eyes, straight up head up 4s, or even a bear front in the 3 and then go old school 46, we think that somebody's got a double gap somewhere. I kind of want to break that notion tonight and share some things that are on my mind that I've been chewing on really for a while now, back in my days, even as a middle school coach. And, I've been in the odd fronts. I've been in even fronts. We primarily were an even front the last 7 years at Steele High School. And I'm going to base out of this. And so I want to just share some ideas with you guys on single gap fits from an odd front. So you can see here, we're in 4 eyes with the head up nose at a 0, the Tite 4. A lot of this is things that I've stolen from a multitude of different people. Guys that have been in the league or in the, a long time, guy by the name of John Peterson, who kind of was behind the scenes. He was actually an NFL Scout of the Year in 2010 with the Seattle Seahawks, spent some time in Carolina and lives here in San Antonio area. He was a mentor of mine early on in my career. And then, obviously Coach Aranda, who's now taking the Baylor job, studied a lot under what he's been doing, both at Wisconsin and then at LSU. And then guys like Patrick Toney at Louisiana Lafayette. So just a culmination of things. And I've kind of taken some things from all 3 of those guys specifically, and then talking to other coaches throughout, and just kind of added some things in that I felt like we could do. So that's kind of where we are. So with this nose, I don't give him freedom. We're actually going to make a call, and we can tag it to the front side of the formation or the back side. I actually drew up doubles here with all things even in the pistol, and so not even to mess with the back right now. If it were a left call, that would actually be, something that we're probably going to look at quite a bit. I was actually talking to Coach Leonard about this. So maybe even shoot backside A with this nose right now. All right. And so very similar to what Coach Leonard is doing at Wisconsin, we want to control the B gaps. You can read up here. I've got a family of Native American terms here where I can call Apache, Brave, or Comanche, and that's going to tell my four eyes where I want them to go right now. So if I were to say, if this is a Liz call or left call, excuse me, and we want to go Comanche strong, now all of a sudden I'm going to fit, more like a 5. I'm going to probably line up in a head up 4 right there just to give me a little bit of an advantage and to confuse that offensive lineman on which way we want to go. But right now my aiming points initially are going to be the hips of the guards from all 3 of these down linemen. One of the things I think for high school kids particularly, if we can give them an aiming point, that allows them to play faster. And so the guys at Hutto High School are going to hear me talk about F&P until I'm blue in the face, they're blue in the face, and it's what every coach in America on our side of the ball teaches, and that's play fast and play physical, right? So we're just going to talk about F&P as much as we possibly can. Again, with that nose, we can give him a nasty call to go front side, or out of our base, we're going to go backside. We will mix that up to keep that, again, that center off balance as much as we possibly can. I think if we can keep him off balance, then that slows these guys down. So what I tell my guys at RNA, what I tell them is what we want right now is what big, tough guys, Coach Holler broke a lot of that mold at the very beginning of this clinic tonight, and what football players think. And the way football players think is, we're big and tough. And so if we can confuse those guys and then get penetration to cause bubbles and bows, that's what we want. And what is a bubble? Well, if this guy's pulling and he's got a bubble around my nose because I'm getting in their crap right now, then I've done my job. If I get these guys to bow their path at any point, I've done my job. And that's what we want to do with our down linemen at the RNA position right now. And so you kind of see what that looks like. Moving on to the linebackers here. This is something that's a little bit different. With my apex players, I am truly going to apex these guys. I've got them lined up at 2 yards. Technically, we can go anywhere between 3 and 5 based on what I call Friday night abilities. And so as a high school coach, we get what we get. Now, I'm extremely blessed. I was blessed on the back end the last 7 years. Been able to send upward double figures in athletes to Division I schools and several of them to Power 5 schools. Right now at Hutto, I've got a group of 4 dudes that are absolutely outstanding, and I can't wait to coach them. I got 6'3", 230 over here who's a 4-star. I got a 6'3", 215 rising sophomore right here. I got a 6 foot, 225 just straight running football player, and then a 6'3", 190 kid over here who's going to be my cover guy. And so I'm going to have some dudes. At the same time, as high school guys, we got to be able to teach them how to play fast within our scheme, right? So we're going to box everything in, and I call this actually a high C, as you can read down there. I want a high C fit as well as a low C fit, and we're reading flow with only the mic and the wheels. So Jack and Money right now know that if it is a run to them, they are going to box things in a high C fit. Okay? And so that's your upfield shoulder. That's going to be getting in the business of the backfield of what's happening back here. And it doesn't matter really what's going on until I have to drop back into a pass coverage. And that's not what we're talking about tonight. But here inside, I'm reading guards, just like we would in a normal 46, bare front, 50, whatever you want to call it, from a 30 technique. I can squeeze you can see there's a little bit of a different alignment here. And I did that on purpose. I can squeeze my alignment based on my abilities however I see fit. If I feel like they're going to run back over here to the left side and I've got to fit what now I call the low C, I want to fit that thing tight. You know what I'm saying? So if I get a lot of GT counter or something like that, if I'm getting a down block and I can come and run that hump real quick, what I tell guys all the time is right now, all things considered, which is the biggest gap? And we got to think A through C in every single play. Now, if they bring in a third surface guy, now we've got a D gap. I get all that. But right now in an open set, I've got to fit every single gap, A through C, on both sides of the football. And so what I want them to understand is A and B are the smallest of the two gaps, or those 3 gaps. So we got a small gap here, we got a small gap here, and then we've got a large gap out here, which is C and C extended. Why not have 2 fitters out there? If that's going to be the case, why not have 2 fitters? So if this particular alignment and this particular opponent has a stud right here, now my mic is going to read his guard All right. If this guard, if we get a GT pulling back this way, now I can scrape and fit the A gap right now because remember my nose was going to take A over here. So I got nose A over here. I got my B gap is fit with my 4I. And now I've got this guy as my chase dude. Now we are flowing in a fast flow concept to the opposite side, but we've got everything gapped out over here. Well, I would rather have an extra gap fitter. Instead of just fitting that gap, now my Willie can set right there in that A gap. And now my Mike can come over here and we can fit that biggest gap that we possibly can fit with some kind of inside zone, wide zone, split zone, or even maybe a one back power look. You know, if we get 2 down blocks here and then the left guard's pulling back over this way. Now my Mike can meet him in the hole. Again, bowls and bubbles. We either meet him in the hole and nobody's there for jack because I don't think this guy can come crack. If he does, then we're just going to replace with either our quarters or if some of you may have seen with some of my press palm stuff, we may have a corner pressing this guy, and now he's going to play wide force from the secondary. So that's a number of things that we can do there. And then what it looks like all together so you guys can kind of see what I'm talking about. And, again, these are just ideas, and I'd love to talk more about it. You guys set me right. All right, so if this were, you know, a call where if we want to go backside A, for example, and our nose is hitting backside A, we're calling it to the back. All right, Coach Leonard and I were talking about the back placement and how that matters in our gap fits. If we do that right now and we want to go backside, I am hitting that gap hard. I've got A and B right now fit. If they want to run zone to our right, I'm going to now take that Mike and I'm going to come fit that C low, and I've got a high fitter with my jack. So I'm double fitting the C. I've got A and B. I'm good. If they want to run back and they want to run some read, we give them a read look. Well, now we're crashing down to that B. If they're reading first level, that's great. If they're reading second level, he's going to give a give read every time because of his high rush. Well, let's say they misread it. He gives and he keeps. All right. He goes across, and he keeps. Now I'm double fit here. My Mike will now scrape over and play the A gap. So I'm going to double fit the C gap here, and I'm gapped out all the way across the board. And really the only 2 guys that are reading are my Mike and Willie. Okay, and again, we got secondary force. Again, I'll run quarters and I'll run palms. In my palm stuff, it's different than my quarter stuff. So let me clarify that. I'm going to have a difference in secondary force. If I call palms, I want my corner forcing, and it's almost like a trap. Sometimes we can hop inside here from a press. We can get hands on, shock and shed him, work to the outside. There's a number of things that we do in our press palms look. And then if I want to back them off and run a palms concept, we just call that true quarters. Okay, so what we'll do there is we'll just read 2-to-1 just like everybody does from both the safety. Now my safety is going to come in, and now I'm going to get these guys peeling out into the flat if it is a passing concept. But this is the way our run fit's going to look out of our mint stuff, our tight stuff. Again, if we wanted to go, I'll just show you guys real quick because I got some time. I wanted to go as fast as I could, get some ideas, and then let you guys know that definitely reach out to me. I want to go Apache. All right, here's what you can kind of see what this will look like. Let me delete that. If I want to go Apache for whatever reason to my anchor here. Now he's just going to get that. So now I'm going to give a call where the nose is going to hit this A gap right now. So again, take the thinking out of it. I've got A gap fit. Once I have A gap fit, now my Mike and Willie have a little bit more freedom to roam and run. Okay, so I'm going to fit it inside out. I want to fit it inside out. My Mike is going to have eyes heavy there. And now my jack would technically be by himself. So just a little gap exchange, kind of not really a stunt, really. It's just a gap exchange. And I get this guy playing faster because he hears the word Apache. He knows he's got to get to the A gap right now. I can gap exchange, and I'm still technically I want 2 guys fitting out there if I'm a crash B's. But if I just play a little game here, now I can go 1 for 1. I'm still gapped out, no problem. Okay, and I'm still double gapped over here to this C gap if they were to give a keep read. All right. So you kind of see how that works. Again, Comanche would be just him going to the C gap. Again, making it real simple for our guys. So now he's going to go here. All right. Pardon my my lack of drawing expertise there. I suck. All right. But he's going to go there. You get the idea. We're fitting inside out. Okay. And now the jack can come up underneath right there. All right. So just some games that we can play. We can tag it with some blitzes, which we will do. But that's kind of what we're going to base out of. And love to hear you guys' thoughts. Love to hear what you think about it. Love to hear how you can get me right. Because like I said, I'm still just kind of picking some things out. This is what I have installed at my new place. And again, I want to make it as fast as we can make it with really the fewest reads possible. And really right now, my Mike and Willie are the only ones reading, and they're just reading guards just like you would in an old school 46. You just read your guards, now find backflow, and let's get at it. Let's play fast. Coach, I appreciate it. Man, I was good. I got 45 seconds left. So whatever you guys got, holler at me. Again, let me go back to that slide. You got my number. There you go, right there. Number, Twitter, whatever you guys want. I'll follow you back, I promise. As long as you prove you're a coach, I'm going to follow you back. I'm that guy. So appreciate it. Thanks again, Drew.
Yeah, hey, so you got one question in the chat, and then I had one for you.
Let's go.
So Coach McCoff wants to know, how's your low C player fitting the run, squeeze, and wrong arm?
Yeah, so we're actually working the splatter technique. I learned that from Wally. Wally Chasinski up in, I can't pronounce his last name, so some of you guys may know him. He's a Midwesterner up at St. Thomas. He was teaching there's my alarm. I'm big on time. I want to make sure I get done on time. He was kind of the guy that taught me that splatter technique. So we're going to keep that outside shoulder free. And here's why, as I said, with fitting that gap, if I can run the hump, what I call run the hump, we want to crash those Bs hard. All right, if I'm getting a down block, then that hump really squeezes for me, and I'm just going to run right off the edge of that tackle. And now I want to keep my outside shoulder free. So remember the whole bows and bubbles thing, right? If I'm causing everything to bow out, including the ball carrier now, I've got a high C fitter outside of me. So I don't want to go in and spill it necessarily, because I feel like if I spill it, whether I'm surfing down the line like we would teach these D linemen, or whether I wrong shoulder it, I'm kind of taking myself out of position. Really, I'm getting from a squared stance, and now I'm turning my body, and it's really difficult, as we know, to change directions when we're doing that. I'd rather him stay square, and because of that, I really like what Coach teaches in the splatter technique. I'm going to go in there and freaking mash that dude with a right shoulder. Okay, mash him with the right shoulder, and now I can ricochet, to use another football term with you, ricochet off of him and help fit that C gap with my apex player. Does that answer your question, Coach?
I think so. Hopefully it does. Another one. Yep, he said yes, it does. Gum wants to know who has the cutback on inside zone since your backside inside linebacker is playing fast through the A gap, and then because you have your outside linebacker in conflict with 2 on the RPO. Yeah,
so you know, if we have a conflict player on the RPO and we're getting RPO to death, usually what I'm going to do, Coach, is I'm going to heat them up. Because think about it. I mean, if we're going to sit in a 3 down, we got to at least send a 4th guy. And so when I'm going to do that, as Coach Leonard mentioned, I'm going to run some match 3. So we're just going to scroll from the roof in Texas, and we've had a few, not many. It's usually PPOs instead of RPOs. We're not seeing a whole lot of 3rd level reads. And so to answer your question, I'm going to go ahead and press the issue with that. As far as the back cut on the A gap, you know, with my nose, if my nose gets to where he's supposed to get right now, again, it doesn't matter what my call is, then I'm going to probably some issues already. And what those issues are going to allow is that scraping backer to, again, run that hump as well, because we run it with both of my inside guys. We should run that hump to the opposite A gap right now. If we're fighting pressure with pressure, then that's just done. We've already done our job, and now he's playing free. So he's technically a free player, but he will have that gap on that backside if my nose gets to where he's supposed to get. It all begins with the nose. We got to have a dynamite nose who's going to blow things up, right? So is it a problem? It hasn't been up to this point, but like I said, we will press the issue, and we'll even send some sims and creepers and go to a 5-man blitz if we have to, just to force the issue if we're getting hit hard with bend, bang, bounce. If they're bending everything to the backside, we'll start pressing the issue and send some heat.
Another one. So what are you teaching your 4-eye if the offense arcs the tackle and QB reads your 4-eye?
Yeah, so if you're getting red, we want to squeeze and basically squat. One of the things that, again, going back, and I'm a broken record, you probably should ask Wally to speak, Drew. He cuts the field a lot. So if you get a free path, kind of like a daylight blitz type deal, go attack the mesh right now. I kind of like that concept. I haven't decided to do it yet, to be honest with you. Just like I'm seeing you guys, this is about all I've seen of the Hutto Hippos. I've seen them twice one time in workout. One time I was in a full 3-piece suit and just saw him in the weight room for a few minutes. So I haven't seen those kids move. So I'll answer that question next year. So let's come back and do this again. All right. So it's hard. It's hard. I like to sit and squat, to answer your question, like day one stuff. If I get that arc, I'm going to sit and squat and make him make a decision, and then I'm going to go find the football because I'm going to gap out everywhere else.
All right. And then Jim, sounds like Jim's got some stuff he wants to throw out there too. So go ahead, Jimmy.
I raised my hand. I've never done that on here.
Nice.
I kind of like it. Yeah, so that's a big issue that we run into at times is reading the 4-eye. And at the high level, you may have the ability to crash the mesh, do all that stuff. The biggest thing that we run into is where are those backers located off of it, right? And making it consistent, because when your backer, let's say your inside backer, we play 2x2, they'll be in 30s, and 3x1, and a lot of stuff we do, not everything, and a lot of stuff they do, we'll slide to a 50-0, right? And really play that from those positions. So when you're reading the 4-eye, where that backer is behind him changes, right? So to make it consistent for them, that's kind of the biggest thing that we do. A lot of what we do, we have tackles that are athletic enough that reading that 4-eye, they can get up on that second level backer and block, get him blocked. Whereas at the high school level, you might not always have that. So a lot of our answer is having our outside backers are the force defenders, and that 4-eye will play the outside piece, right? That's kind of, we always think of it inside or outside piece, because you take the back, flow coming to that 4-eye getting read, flow going away from him. We see both. And to him, we always say kind of the outside piece, maybe the quarterback, maybe the running back, that he has to flow. And our backers that fit off of it understand they're fitting the inside piece of that. That's kind of the terminology that we use when those guys are getting read, if that helps anybody.
It does, Coach Leonard. Hey, real quick, while you're on the topic, so that inside and outside piece, would that be a specific aiming point, or what are you telling those guys, just to read that mesh as they're coming down on the inside piece? What are you telling them?
As far as the 4-eyes you're saying, or the
when they're being read. Yeah,
flow. I mean, let's say the running back is flow coming to them, and they're getting read as a 4-eye with the running back corner. I mean, which is pretty flat usually. It's kind of an ability angle, right? Because they may have to get relatively flat off of the speed of that, because it happens relatively quick. The easy ones for us are if the 4-eye, or if the tackle just goes. Right. I mean, the tackle just arcs right now and he's going second level. We'll get some teams that bluff it. Right. They know our 4-eyes are really reading the tackle. So they'll bluff that. Right. And then kind of slip up to the second level. That one's significantly more difficult for them, because they're kind of going to engage already. So it becomes a pretty second reaction deal for them with flow at them. Flow away from them. They're pretty much staying at the line of scrimmage, because we will get enough downhill stuff, right? They're trying to create that A gap as big as possible, or that B gap as big as possible, getting movement on the nose before they climb, and you're really getting the running back and the quarterback through the same gap, to where they're pretty much at the line of scrimmage, because they're trying to snap quarterback, snapping flat down the line to the running back if possible.
I like it.
Sweet. Good. Looks like that's all the questions we've got right now. So thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, man. Good stuff. I always love learning about the defensive stuff that I'm going to have to be going against.